This ain't a game, kid. Rusty jokes.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with Cobi and Kay.
I'm Jacobi Gray.
And I'm Kayla Henderson. Thanks for joining us. On the show, we will go in depth with aspiring, high achievers, and trailblazers making a difference in the world.
He's an author, NFL analyst, a father, a husband, and an NFL legend. As our first guest for our conversations, we have Mr. Michael Vick. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Joining us, Michael Vick.
Anytime.
So, Mr. Vick, can you tell us, and I know you're from Newsport News, Virginia, what is your childhood like?
Childhood was like a mixed bag, like any childhood, it was fun. My mom always found a way to make it so that, we seen things, not for what they were, but for what they could potentially be. But, growing up in poverty-stricken neighborhood, you go outside and then there's different challenges that you have to face. But even in that sense, you don't see that as a kid. It's still just living life as a normal, 8-year-old, 10-year-old who just try to have fun and don't see, all the dangers that may come with living with, within that environment. But just making the most of it, man. And I think growing up, I always felt like I had the greatest life ever. And when I look back on it, it was probably not the best, but we made the most of it. And I think that positivity just came through my mom. So a rough upbringing, but positive attitude all the way through.
Okay.
Good. Same here. So you made the decision to go to Virginia Tech. What solidified your choice in playing for Virginia Tech, being that Syracuse was also another option for you?
Yeah, I had multiple options. To choose Virginia Tech was more so because it was in close proximity to where I lived. It was a 4-hour trip. I could have went to a couple other schools that may have been within like a 2 to 3 hour radius. And I was thinking about my mom and my dad, being able to attend the games and making it easy for them. Gas money was going to be, something that would have to be taken into, context, and then also, flights and all that. We didn't have it. So, I chose Virginia Tech, man. It was the greatest decision I ever made because of Coach Beamer. But, all my life I, grew up thinking about playing for Notre Dame and, Florida State, Florida.
Those are good, yeah.
I chose Virginia Tech, and I was like, man, what in the world did I just do? One of those moments.
Yes. So in the year 2001, when you got drafted to NFL, how was the feeling being rookie and star quarterback of the team?
It was definitely different. When I was at Virginia Tech, I had everything I wanted. I had my own car, my own apartment. I was the man on campus.
Right.
Probably could eat for free anywhere. So it was just really cool. It was definitely a different vibe from the first time I stepped on campus. And then, I found myself playing in the National Football League, and now it's work. There's no more school. You have to learn to be prompt and be on time. And I found out that football became more like a job. It wasn't just football anymore. And there was more severity behind it as far as, production.
Okay.
Now, you had a lot of memorable plays. We're approaching the 17th year of your overtime run against the Vikings.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did that moment change your life, being that just a year before, you were drafted #1 in the league?
Yeah, that moment, I can vividly think about it now. I know exactly what happened throughout the course of that play, and it certainly was a moment that, I never forget, because I always wanted to score a touchdown in overtime and run in the locker room and just, that kind of silly thing, that we dream about as kids, or you might see somebody else do, at a time when they celebrating on the moment of just jubilation. So I wanted that moment, and then it came when I least expected it. I was just thinking that I was probably going to get maybe a first down, gain 10, 12 yards, get tackled, but when the two dudes ran into each other, it was like a moment in history for me. So that play gets brought up all the time by people all across the world, and I'm glad that I was able to make that highlight.
So you started the Vick Academy, and it's very successful. Tell us about the Vick Academy and why you decided to curate it.
I created the Mike Vick Academy because I feel like, I have a lot to pass on to the next generation. Working as a sports analyst, I can give feedback to the world. week in and week out on what's happening in sports and what's happening in the National Football League. But you know, it all starts with that 8-year-old who has that dream, and you know, fight his way to high school, to college, and you know, hopefully to get drafted. So, you know, the academy is just starting a dream. You know, starting out, you know, teaching the next generation what it takes to not just be a good football player, but to be a great human being in general. Best way they can, because everybody's situations and circumstances are different.
Okay.
Great. As the NFL continues to progress, so does the talent that's already in the NFL.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yes, you're currently an NFL analyst for Fox.
Yeah.
So who do you think can and will make a great impact today in the league?
Rookie or second-year player, just in general?
In general.
In general, I would say, you know, just from my gut feeling, I think Baker Mayfield will be a really good quarterback for years to come. You know, showed a lot of promise in his first year as a rookie. That's what you want to see when you take a guy that early. You take a guy number one.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing you want is 3 years from now him being a bust, and then
Right.
you know, the fan base, you know, they coming in, they throwing apples, and it gets ugly.
Right.
And then I would say Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has, you know, tremendous upside, and just for the young generation, the next generation of quarterbacks to come through the league, I'm really excited to see, you know, what that's going to look like 5 to 6 years from now when guys like Cam Newton and Russell Wilson, you know, Aaron Rodgers are retiring. You got another good cast of young quarterbacks stepping up, you know, filling the void.
Okay. So we're going to switch it up to the music industry. So there has been a lot of talk about Jay-Z, recent partnership with the NFL.
Right.
How do you foresee this partnership being beneficial to all parties involved?
I think it's a great partnership. You know, I text Roger probably 2 days ago and just told him, you know, I was just proud of where we are with things as far as the NFL and the league, and where we, you know, culturally how we're moving and trending in a different direction in the partnership with Jay-Z. You know, it's Jay-Z being Jay-Z. You know, he's a mogul. He's a guy like myself look up to. You know, as far as, you know, what he brings to the business world and his business mind, you know, it's uncanny. And him being able to partner with the NFL, and them being able to come together and make, you know, something, I won't say out of nothing, but enhance an opportunity. You know, not just for us, not for them. I mean, it's for the entire world, you know, to see people of all different backgrounds coming together, you know, doing business for the greater good, you know, everyone's upbringing, right? And everyone's, you know, opportunity in life. So, you know, I think it's a great merger. You know, I think that Jay-Z will definitely have some influence on, you know, what goes on, you know, not just in the National Football League, but, you know, on the entertainment side, the culture side, and that's what we do. We bring it all together and merge it together.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think it was a great move, man.
It was a great move.
Absolutely
Yep.
great move.
Okay. What was the best advice that you have received, football related or not?
The best advice that I've ever received in my life probably came a little later in my life. Arthur Blank from the Atlanta Falcons just consistently told me, you know, you are what you eat, and the people who you hang around, you will be a reflection of. And at first it didn't register, and I didn't pay attention to it or didn't understand it. But, you know, you can be with a group of guys, and, you know, it might be a group of guys who are straight A students and, you know, about their business, but because it's 5 or 6 of y'all, you know, you look like you got an entourage with you. That deters people. That makes people, you know, look at you a different way. And, you know, I hung around with a small group of people when I was younger, but there was just too many of us. And, you know, it wasn't a good look. So what I've learned is that, you know, be careful of who you surround yourself with, and you are what you eat.
Yeah, that's true.
That's so true.
You get it.
And I'm in college and I learned that now.
Right. You go through that every day.
Yes. And our last question that we have for today is, what advice do you have for someone getting ready to start or just beginning in their career?
My advice to somebody who is starting their career just in the beginning is, you know why you are involved in that career. You know, I think for anyone, when you talk about a career, you think in longevity, and you have to start from ground zero. And, you know, the goals that you set to start that career and get there is the goals that you got to set to end that career. So, it doesn't just start on that day. It's about your end game and longevity and making sure that you are consistent in your work and you are the best that you be the best that you can be. While you're in your profession. And hopefully you enjoy it because it'll bring more enthusiasm, so to speak, out of you into your work, and it shows up.
Correct.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vick, for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Anytime.
All right, I'm Jacobi Gray.
And I'm Kayla Henderson.
All right, see you next time on Conversations with Cobi and Kay.